And our driving question is, what did Michael Jordan do to be so successful at basketball?
Top dunks of Michael Jordan's career. We are doing the top dunks of Michael Jordan's career. These will be poster dunks, where you accumulate the person under the basket. Michael Jordan was very great at dunking, and also, if you haven't heard, he was also known as the GOAT, or greatest of all time. He was 6'6".
Accomplishments. This is a listing of his top accomplishments would include the following. Rookie of the Year, 5-time NBA MVP, 6-time NBA champion, 6-time NBA Finals MVP, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 9-time NBA All-Defense First Team, Defensive Player of the Year, 14-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA All-Star MVP, and he won 6 championships. 1991, 1992, 1993, 1996, 1997, and 1998.
Childhood. Michael Jordan's childhood was very rough. His father worked as a General Electric plant supervisor, and his mother worked at a bank. His father taught him to work hard and not to be tempted by street life. His mother taught him to sew, clean, and do laundry. Jordan loved sports, but he failed at making the high school basketball team as a sophomore. Later, he did succeed to be on the basketball team.
About Michael Jordan. He played for the Chicago Bulls and the Wizards. Michael Jordan grew up with stable parents, and Jordan had 4 siblings, Larry, Dolores, Rosalind, and James Jr., which James Jr. was named after Michael Jordan's dad. Michael Jordan's dad sadly passed away. James was killed on July 23, 1993, when he was sleeping in his car in rural North Carolina. His body was found 11 days later, shortly after Michael won his 3rd NBA title with the Chicago Bulls.
In this video, we will be doing the top 10 dunks of Michael Jordan's career.
Conclusion. These are some facts about Michael Jordan. Hope you learned a lot about the GOAT, Michael Jordan. This is a book that we recommend of Michael Jordan pursuing his dream, Salt in His Shoes.
Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Bailey, and my genius hour is what struggles did America go through when acquiring the Statue of Liberty. The reason I have chosen to talk about this topic is because I've always wanted to go to Liberty Island and see the Statue of Liberty. You may know the Statue of Liberty as a gift from France, but there's more to it than that. The engineer who built the Statue of Liberty also built the Eiffel Tower. He was a French man named Gustave Eiffel. They wanted to gift America the Statue of Liberty for their 100th year anniversary. When the statue was first built, its name was Liberty Enlightening the World, but they soon changed it to Statue of Liberty so it would be short. It took 9 years to build the Statue of Liberty, and to raise money to finish building, they displayed the head in America and the hand with the torch in France for people to donate money. The Statue of Liberty was shipped in 214 crates. Once it was shipped to America, it took 4 months to reassemble. They began building the Statue of Liberty in 1875, and construction ended in 1884. Originally, the statue was brown, but became green due to the oxidation process. America almost lost the Statue of Liberty because the creator loved it so much. America had to pay for the pedestal and raise the money since the government wouldn't pay for it. The Statue of Liberty weighs 450,000 pounds and is 151 feet tall, with 354 steps inside. In this video, we will be learning some more interesting facts about the Statue of Liberty.
So how were they going to get this huge statue to stay up? Well, they went to Eiffel to engineer it and figure it out.
So how did it end up in New York?
Well, it was shipped across the Atlantic with the intention of being a gift of America's 100th birthday to celebrate July 4th, 1776, when we declared our independence. It got here a little late, about 10 years later, and was finally erected on Liberty Island in 1886. Now, coming across the ocean, it took 350 individual pieces packed in over 200 crates to get her from France to the United States. So you can understand why it took some time to get her up on that pedestal. The sculptor was very thoughtful in all of the different elements that he chose. So of course there's the torch, which we're also familiar with, that is a symbol of liberty and light and enlightening the world. Then you have the Statue of Liberty's crown with 7 points on it. Those 7 rays of the sun are actually the 7 seas and the 7 continents of the whole world.
I did not know that.
I had no idea either. All of these little details, even down to the shoes that she's wearing.
Really?
Yes, so the Statue of Liberty is wearing sandals, and those sandals are a symbol of free people, sort of the common man wearing sandals, and around her feet are broken chains and shackles to represent, again, American freedom. And
I hope you listen. Now we're going to play a little bit.
That's hard.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god.
Ryder! Come on!
Thanks for listening about one of America's greatest monuments.
Hi, my name is Kylie. And my name is Harmony. And our driving question is, how can we teach the class how to care for geese? We're going to show you a little video with
But we are discussing
the goose diet,
the average lifespan,
their different titles,
the habit of the goose,
what to do when being attacked by a goose,
the evil geese, and the perfect pets.
Their diet includes roots, berries, plants, corn, grain, and leaves, sometimes insects with grass here and there. The average lifespan.
Span is 10 to 24 years.
A group of geese is a gaggle. A baby goose is a gooseling, a female goose is a dame, and a male goose is a gander. Huge variety of habitats and ecosystems. Waterfowl geese live in areas that are close to the water. Most species prefer living in and around fresh water rather than salt or brackish water.
Some of the different habitats they live in includes lakes, ponds, streams, marshes, wetlands, and more. Many species of geese also inhabit public parks, farms, and pastures in other urban areas. Chinese goose, which is the goose that we have, and the Chinese goose is very aggressive if you get too close to his or her mates. She or he will attack the gooselings. Even though they might seem cute, cuddly, and just plain out sweet, they are not. To protect yourself, simply and calmly walk towards it or the opposite direction. It gives the goose an idea that you are the boss. Here, this is your nest, and confuse them. Our goose, she, since we got her as a baby, she is not very aggressive, and we've played with her a lot, and so she's not as aggressive as the other ones. Yeah, our white goose, which he's a little bit more aggressive, we did have to kind of tame him a little bit more. Once he came to you, you could just grab the neck and turn him around, and he'll go the opposite direction.
Merrick, does it bite?
Sometimes she does, only if she thinks that your fingers are fit. Isaac,
Has she yelled at anybody?
she does kind of backtalk to you.
Used to be used as guards.
Yes, they
Is it
can.
useful
They're
as a
really
guard?
good. Yes, they eat like grass and worms and bugs. She can eat berries and they do sleep with their eyes open though. Isaac,
Can they fly?
yes they can.
Like what position does it sleep? Does it like stand up or lay down?
Yeah, it normally stands on one foot and rests its neck on its back. We hope you enjoyed.
Hello, my name is Hunter, and my driving question is, what can I teach my class about piano? The first piano was built in 1703 by a man named Bartolomeo Cristofori. The first piano was called piano forte because forte translates to loud and piano means soft in Italian. Did you know the average weight of the piano is 750 pounds, but the heaviest piano was around 1,500 pounds? Pianos can have up to 200 strings, which is around 90 keys. Pianos have been around for a long time, which means keys have changed throughout the years. And back then they used ivory keys, which is 2 rows of keys. Now I need 2 volunteers. Let's do Marley and Alec. Alright, both of y'all get to pick one song to play. So first is number 1.
Play it.
Look, so first is that one. Now play the entire thing.
I messed up.
Let's get a round of applause for Marley. That one, that one. Okay. Why don't you just keep going faster?
How did Adolf Hitler rise to power? By Kinsey and Matt.
Today we'll be talking about Hitler's rise to power, his main goals while being ruler. We picked this topic because we wanted to know what Hitler did and why.
In the 1930s, Germany was very poor due to the Great Depression. 15 years prior, Germany had lost in World War I. Germany was heavily punished after the loss. They were in dire need of a new leader, and Hitler was a powerful, persuading dictator and speaker. In 1933, Adolf Hitler was elected dictator or ruler of the Nazi Party.
The Nazi Party was mainly unheard of before Hitler. He promised people that he would bring prosperity. Hitler despised the Jews and ready to force mass murder of Jews, and anybody who even looked Jewish. Hitler believed that they were responsible for the loss of World War I, which was untrue. 6 million Jewish people died, as well as 5 million of these solely because of political, racial, or behavioral reasons. 1 million of them were children. Hitler killed in his camps located in Poland in the freezing cold, and as many of you know, used gas chambers.
Gas chambers are airtight rooms that are filled with poisonous gas as a means of execution. Adolf Hitler came to power with the goal of establishing a new racial order in Europe dominated by Germany, and to seize power through Germany's parliamentary system.
In 1939, the euthanasia program was set in place. If a kid under 3 years old had signs of disability, then it must be reported to the state and a special pediatric clinic would either starve them or give them a lethal overdose. Approximately 10,000 kids were murdered through the euthanasia program. Sadly, it's likely that this is way less than how many actually died. Over 1 million people died, including children.
The biggest concentration camp ever was the Auschwitz concentration camp. It was a death camp located in Poland where they would capture Jews, work them to death, starve them, torture them, and even use them as lab rats. And that's just a glimpse of what happened at Auschwitz. Just at that one camp, over 1.1 million people died, including children. This is a photograph of the present-day entrance of Auschwitz. This is what Jews would have seen at the entrance of Auschwitz.
Hitler died in his birthplace on April 30, 1945 from suicide by a gunshot, as well as his wife. It's suspected that the reason was because he was being tracked by Soviet troops storming Berlin. Their bodies were carried up the stairs and through the bunker as an emergency exit to the garden near the Reich Chancellery, where they were to be burned with petrol. The Nazi flag, the swastika, was originally created for the Nazi flag Party in 1920. It later became the flag of Germany itself after the Nazis took power in 1932.
A common asked question is, why did Hitler invade Poland? The answer is that he wanted to regain territory that Germany had lost previously, as well as to gain more power or control against neighboring countries. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope that you learned something new about Adolf Hitler.
Hi, my name is Rosalinda, and my driving question is, have you ever thought that the Arabic language has something in common with the Spanish language? And if it does, how did it come into the language? I became interested in this topic when I heard words that sound very similar. Today I will answer both of these questions in under 5 minutes, so make sure to listen. First, let's talk about what they have in common. One example you can see are nouns and pronunciation for the majority of the time. Here's a fun fact. H's in Arabic are pronounced like J's in Spanish. And clearly, you can tell the way the alphabet is written is not something that they have in common. Here I have an example chart that was created by Kieran B. Guerin that shows some words that almost sound identical in the topic of food. Rice, which in Spanish is arroz, and which in Arabic is arroz, or another example is the word sugar, which in Spanish is azúcar, and which in Arabic is also pronounced azúcar. As you can tell, there are many more, but here by the side I have some basic Spanish words like hello, which is hola, bye, which is adios, please, which is por favor, and thank you, which is gracias. Now, you might be wondering, how did it come into the language? During 711 AD, Arabs were very into exploring. During one of their explorations, they came across the Iberian Peninsula, which is present-day Spain. One reason these languages blended was due to Moors, which are Hispanic Muslims. You can see from where the origins are how these two languages blended. The reason these languages aren't the same today are due to dialects, and there was many dialects back in their day too. Here's a fun fact. 90% of Google Translate is accurate in Spanish. I wanted to include this to show, just in case you wanted to use Google Translate for Spanish. Now, let's play a Kahoot to see how well you listen or type. For first place, Harrison, second place, Nori, and third place, Sydney. You will get an extra big prize.
My name is Taryn, and my driving question is, what was D-Day and why was it so effective? What influenced me to research this topic was that I've heard the summarized version of D-Day for a long time, but I've wondered about some of the finer details. The planning for D-Day started when Stalin wanted a second front in the West in 1942. However, it was too early due to the Americans not having enough resources. In November of 1945, the Germans put Erwin Rommel in charge of the defense of the English Channel. That's a picture of him. And gave him orders to finish the Atlantic Wall. The wall of defenses will expand 2,400 miles. Eisenhower was elected the commander of D-Day soon after. At the start of the operation, the Allies were to carry out a deception tactic that consisted of double agents, false radio transmissions, and a mock army commanded by George Patton, placed in a way that convinced the Germans they would invade Pas de Glace. Initially, bad weather was forecasted for the invasion date, but Eisenhower was convinced at the last moment to give the go-ahead. That's Eisenhower. That's a tank from the mock army. Paratroopers were deployed with the intent to protect the Allies' flanks and secure roads and or bridges. The paratroopers didn't reach the designated landing zone due to strong winds. Some landed in bogs and drowned. All in all, there were 5 beach landing points. Golden Sword, the 2 British landing points. Utah and Omaha, the 2 American landing points, and Juneau, the only Canadian landing point. Utah Beach was the last-minute addition to the assault with the purpose of securing Cherbourg, a major port. Omaha Beach linked the British and American forces and had the highest body count due to the terrain. Gold Beach was meant to take road junctions, and Juneau Beach was meant to take the airbase at Courcelles-sur-Mer. Sword Beach was meant to take Caen, but this was too advantageous, and they only got to Pegasus Bridge. The original objective wasn't taken until late June. Here is a speech Eisenhower gave before the Allies took Normandy.
Sailors and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely.
This next video is footage from the Allies invading Normandy. War and was a successful front that marked the beginning of the end of World War II.
Hello, I'm Caleb, and my driving question is, what are CB radios, what is their history, and how are they used? I came up with this topic when I saw my dad using one on a road trip. CB radio, or Citizens Band Radio, is a low-power radio that can be used by anyone. It's most commonly used by truckers in emergency situations. All that is required to run the CB is a radio antenna and a 12-watt power source. When using a CB radio, you receive and send out messages via radio waves. When a message is sent to you via CB radio, a radio wave is sent out, and when it reaches you, it goes into a receiver inside the CB radio, and then it plays out of a speaker on the bottom. The first available CB radios were in 1949, mainly used by truckers. However, they gained popularity in the 70s because of the gas shortage and interstate speed limits being lowered. The reason they were used on the interstates is to tell about police speed traps. It was invented in 1948 by Al Gross, although it was approved for use by the FCC in 1945. We're going to be seeing a History Channel broadcast about CB radios and their history.
70s with the Citizens Band Radio. In a decade in which few had car phones, the CB became the official mouthpiece for the American motorist. Grabbing a CB radio was the equivalent to shooting the breeze in an internet chat room. Drivers had their own nicknames or handles. A CB radio has a short antenna, typically measuring only 10 feet tall. This limits its broadcast range to about 5 miles. In 1974, when the interstate speed limit was lowered from 70 to 55 miles per hour, the CB radio became the secret weapon for clock-conscious truckers.
Truckers were interested in going more than 55 miles an hour, so they were looking for the CB.
Most channels have no specific use, although some do. Channel 9 is used for emergency uses such as first responders, Red Cross, and some towing companies. Channel 19 is mostly used for reporting road conditions and general talking. I will now demonstrate really quickly a CB radio. Hard hat requesting a radio check. Hard hat requesting a radio check. That was my presentation about CB radio. I hope y'all learned a lot.
My name is Casey, and my driving question is, what type of lures catch a catfish and what type of catfish live in Texas? So the first lure I'm going to tell you about is the frog bait. So if you are wanting to catch a channel catfish, you can use this one. The lure is a soft lure bait, likely going to catch a 3 to 5 pound one. The next one is a 6-inch lizard. If you are trying to catch a flathead catfish, this lure is for you. But make sure that it is between 4 to 6 inch. Soft bait. They are most attracted to this lure. Using an angleworm, get you a yellow bullhead catfish, only because it is a standard bait. A shad lure can catch any catfish, but best for black bullhead catfish. The artificial night crawler, soft fishing that sinks to the bottom, dragged across to attract blue catfish. Fun fact, catfish can be found all around the world except Antarctica. Blue cat, yellow cat, blackhead, flathead, and channel cat are all of the catfish I'm going to talk about. Blue catfish is found in North Texas. They can be found in streams, reservoirs, urban lakes. They are delicious to eat, but fun to catch. Central Texas is where the next catfish can be found, and it is the yellow bullhead catfish. They live in backwaters of creeks and small to large rivers. Another in Central Texas would be the blackhead catfish. This catfish can be found where most fish cannot. Polluted and warm water is nice to them. We're going to Northwest Texas to find the flathead catfish.
and it prefers deep pools of streams, rivers, and canals. Lake Fork is where the next catfish is going to be found because of its muddy water areas, deep pools, and you might look during the day. So, fun fact, its biggest blue catfish caught in Texas weighed 121.5 pounds and measured 58 inches long. Fun fact number 3, the greatest concentration of sensory organs on a catfish is located on their whiskers. Fun fact number 4, catfish can survive for 8 to 20 years in the wild depending on the species.
This video is an even bigger catfish.
I hope you enjoyed my presentation and have a wonderful casting day.
Today I'll be talking about how to make a stop motion because I have always thought it was hard, but it actually isn't. And when I did the stop motion, it was challenging but not impossible. The first step is to gather a tripod, a camera, characters, and patience. It took a lot of time, but you can power through it. I have 52 photos in the stop motion. The WWE character I used was Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. So the video I will show today is a WWE stop motion that I made.
WWE, here we're already started. This is gonna be a quick fight. Oh, maybe he's putting up a better fight than I thought. Oh, smack down, and he's already tapping out. Whoa, where did he come from? Man, look at this. Oh, Stone Cold's in the house. Stone Cold's gonna take it for the win. Woo!
I would like to give credit to my library and Miss Kelly for helping me with the stop motion and doing the audio for me. Thank you, Miss Kelly. So in conclusion, this shows you that we watched today is a stop motion. Now we will play a WWE booklet. So I want y'all to come up and see how I made this stop motion. So this is what you do. Okay, so you move them like 1 inch, like that. You take a picture. 1 inch, take a picture. 1 inch, take a picture.
Hi, my name is Brooks, and my driving question is where did magic originate from and who is Harry Houdini? I am interested in this topic because magic has always been intriguing to me. Magic originated in 2700 BC in ancient Egypt. The root word for magic derives from the Greek term magoi, which refers to a Median tribe in Persia. A few of the most well-known magicians are Penn and Teller, David Copperfield, David Blaine, and Harry Houdini. So, who is Harry Houdini? Harry Houdini, whose real name is Eric Wythus. Houdini was born March 24, 1874, and died October 31, 1926. Houdini took his stage name from the name of the French magician Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin. Harry Houdini began his professional career at the age of 17 doing magic shows for civic groups and music halls and at the New York's Coney Island amusement park, where he sometimes performed 20 shows each day. Houdini had a brother named Dash, and the two of them were interested in magic, and so they joined a group with friends and called themselves the Brothers Houdini. The group would spend hours practicing tricks and hand movements. When Harry grew up, he performed his most famous magic trick called the Milk Container Escape Act. Harry Houdini also found fame for being a master at escaping handcuffs and escaping a locked, water-filled milk can. So now I'm going to show you a video of Harry Houdini escaping a straitjacket. He performed this at in Houston, Texas. Now I am going to perform the cups and balls magic trick. I hope you all enjoyed learning about Harry Houdini and some things about the history of magic.
Today I will be talking about the 3 types of weapons in World War II. First, we'll talk about the STG-44. The STG was developed in Nazi Germany in the early 1940s. The STG was the first successful assault rifle. The STG fulfilled its role effectively. The person that created the STG-44 was Hugo S. Since the STG-44 offered the options of serving as a submachine gun for assault rifle troops or as reasonably accurate single-shot rifle at ranges from 50 to 200 yards. Second, I'll talk about the MG-34. The MG-34 is a German recoil operated air-cooled machine gun, first tested in 1929, introduced in 1934, and issued to its units in 1936. The MG-34 was the result of re-engineering the device water-cooled machine gun to fit its new requirement. The MG-34 has a huge 75-round mag. At last, we'll learn about the tanks. A tank is an armored fighting vehicle intended as a primary offense weapon in frontline ground combat. Modern tanks are versatile mobile land weapons platforms whose main armament is a large caliber tank gun mounted in a rotating gun turret, supplemented by machine guns or other ranged weapons such as anti-tank guided missiles or rocket launchers. The Tiger tank was one of the most feared. The Tiger tank was mostly known by its heavy armor and high caliber weapons. Next, I will show you all a video about the tanks.
Activities of Ordnance Combat Vehicle and artillery pools behind 1st and 3rd Army lines. At a collection depot and repair yard servicing the 1st Army, mechanics of an ordnance battalion reassemble a 155mm howitzer. Damaged vehicles of the 3rd Army are repaired by members of a heavy maintenance company. When tanks leave here, they are ready for combat down to ammo and rations. Repairing the transmission and final drive of a Sherman tank. To tighten transmission bolts on an M8 armored car. A replacement is necessary for a gun barrel pierced by a 40mm projectile. Cutting 3/4-inch armor plate. Patches are needed for tank hulls punctured by APs. Welding a patch on a Sherman hull. Tank specialists reinstall a thrown track. A new radial engine is uncrated and installed in an armored vehicle. Back into action again with armored units moving into Germany.
Hope you enjoyed learning about the traits and weapons in World War II. Any questions? Isaac?
Why were you interested in this topic?
I was curious of what happened in World War II and what we used to win the war. In conclusion, many men sacrificed their life to make our country free. and that's why we pledge to our flag in respect.
My name is Kinley, and I'm going to be talking about the origin of softball. The making of softball. George Hancock invented softball in 1888. The first softball was invented inside a boating club on a blustery winter day in November 1887. The first softball wasn't a softball, it was a boxing glove tied in its lace, and then the bat was a stick or a broomstick.
Jenny Flinch is a famous softball player. She was born on September 3rd, 1980. She grew up in California. Jenny is the youngest of Doug and Ben Flinch. Family is important to Jenny, and she credits them for much of her success. Lizzie Arlington. Lizzie was born in August 31st, 1877. She died in 1919. Lizzie was a baseball player. She was the first woman in men's baseball team. Rules of softball. There's 4 bases. The bases are 60 feet apart. You can't lead off on a base before the ball is hit. Can leave when the ball is hit or the ball is played on. Can't slide on first. Can take one base on any other overthrows that go out of play. Can't overrun past second or third bases, only first and home. Must tag the base on all fly balls that are caught. Player is out if a batter's ball goes out of bounds while off base or while running to a base. And there's going to be a video about the rules.
With a bat before that player tries to run around the infield of 4 bases. 2. A strike is given to a batter taking a legal swing to score a run while the pitcher tries to out the batsman. Or, said another way, a strike is given to the batter if they swing and miss while the pitcher tries to make them miss. 3. At the end of the game, the team with the most runs is considered the winner. Softball. 1. In softball, each team consists of 9 players, and teams can be of mixed gender. 2. The game runs for a total of 7 innings, which are split into 2 sections, the top and bottom of the innings. 3. Each team's innings ends when 3 of the batters have been called out.
This topic interested me because I've played since 1st grade, and I'm actually on the White Oak Softball Lady Necks, and we've won every game. Thank you for listening.